Hey everyone, it's Lindsay Williams, and welcome to our first episode of Real Estate Insight from your favorite broker, a show where we talk real estate with real talk. So, what I want to do with this podcast is actually answer real estate questions, whether you're a buyer, a seller, a real estate sales professional, or a broker. Let's talk real estate. We are going to answer all of the questions that you may have. And today's episode is super close to my heart because we're digging into what really makes a great broker and why it matters, not just for agents, salespeople, licensees, but also to clients. Why is it important? So if you're a new agent trying to find a sponsoring broker, if you're an agent thinking of switching brokerages, or a client wondering who's really running the show behind the scenes, this one's for you. So in the context of real estate, the difference between a broker and a salesperson or sales agent is pretty easy. A salesperson has to work under the supervision of a broker. A broker is a person who has more experience, who has done more education, more testing to be able to run and manage an office and lead a team of sales professionals. So that's really the distinction between the two, between a sales professional and a broker. And all states are different depending on what you have to do to become a broker and how many years you have to work under a managing broker before you can become a broker. And truly, the difference between an average broker and a really stellar broker is seriously their leadership style and becoming a leader, being a leader. A lot of people, especially just any salesperson, just always thinks, I am a great realtor, I'm a great salesperson, I am really good at what I do, I would be a stellar broker. A lot of times that's not exactly the case because when you are a real estate broker, you are on the other side of the desk. You are doing a lot of things completely different. You're not doing the day-to-day sales activities. You're not out there on the streets pounding and hustling and meeting people and working with buyers and sellers. What you are doing is training your people, making sure that everyone is in compliance with the laws and the regulations and everything that's going on in our industry, which recently has been so much. And what we do is make sure everything holds together and everything is really just cohesive within the culture of the company. So when you're looking for a broker, you want to consider what the broker is actually influencing. So a broker is going to be influencing agent training and success. If that broker is going to be empowering their agents and invested in the success of their sales staff. What type of culture does that broker have? What type of culture do they bring to the table? Is it something that they talk about, that they say they have? Or is it something that they actually live and breathe and do? And what is the reputation of that office within the community? Not just the community of sales professionals, but the community as a whole, where they work, live, and play. That's so important. And truthfully, what is the client experience through how the agent's going to operate? What kind of tools and things does the broker offer to help make your business a success? And is that going to cost you money, or is that going to be something that your broker provides to you? Truthfully, the major takeaway here is that the broker sets the tone. If you don't like the vibe of the office, if you don't feel that you're vibing with the broker, you're not going to vibe at all. It's not going to be a good fit for you. And if you are a buyer or a seller, you also need to remember that the broker is the person who is setting the tone there. If you don't like the vibe of that person, you need to reach out to that broker and see if maybe that vibe's passed down, because I can pretty much guarantee that's the case. Don't always blame the sales associate. on first look, really look at the leadership and where they're coming from. So, a little bit more about traits of what makes an amazing, great broker. Okay. So, what you are going to want to look for is to see if that person is accessible and supportive. Are they around? Are they where you are going to be? What you should never feel like is that you are bothering them. You should have access to them, whether it's phone calls, text messages, emails. You should feel like you can pick up the phone and call that broker. And it doesn't matter day or night. I tell my team that they can reach me anytime that I answer my calls from 9 to 9. And if you ask my kids, they will tell you I answer my calls usually when I roll out of bed at 6 a.m. until I'm falling asleep at 11. I am on the phone all the time with my team. And that's how I want it to be. I am the person who is responsible for what my sales staff is doing. I am the person who has to be held accountable for what all of these people are out there doing. So I need to be accessible to them when they have a question. And you are going to want to make sure that your broker is accessible to you. You also want to make sure that that person leads by example. You want to make sure that if they are selling or working with buyers, or if they are mentoring you, that they are staying sharp, that they are keeping up to date with all of the latest in the real estate market, that they are understanding what is happening with the settlement or with the real estate industry at an overall glance. You want to make sure that they're reading the news, that they're keeping up to date, that they have good relationships with other brokers, not just locally, but from far and wide, that they are talking to a network of other business professionals who are also out there running businesses as real estate brokers. It is super important that the person you're working for is staying sharp and leading by example. You want to make sure that that person has super high standards so you can set super high trust in that person. Ethical, very important. Experienced, very important. Empowering their sales associates, so important. You want to make sure that it's not all about them. You want to make sure that they are empowering the success of their team, because a true super amazing broker finds the success of those who work for them as their greatest successes. You want to make sure that your broker cares about culture. It's not just about creating an environment that they think is amazing or flashy or super trending. It's somewhere that is an environment where sales associates help one another and feel comfortable doing so, not a mean girls or catty environment. And if you're watching this and you've worked in some other offices or you have sales experience, you know what I'm talking about. That tends to happen. And it's difficult to work in an office that tends to flow that way. And sometimes brokers just allow it to happen because sometimes that brings in success. Is that what you really want? You want to make sure that the broker is invested in agent growth. You want to make sure that the broker is offering real training from their experience, real training from things that they are out there continually learning, and not just fluff meetings. If every time you leave a sales meeting you think, oh my gosh, that could have been an email, I wish it would have been an email, or for the love of everything, just send me a text, it's probably not the best environment to support your growth as a sales professional in this industry. If you feel like you're just staying status quo, it's probably because you're not getting the support to move forward from your broker. You also want to work for a broker who knows when to step in. Sometimes the broker needs to do so. Sometimes your buyers and your sellers need to know that the broker is available to step in and be of assistance. And it's not that you don't understand or that you don't know or that you're not qualified to do this, but sometimes some deals need a broker that have a backbone that can step in and say, you know what, we're not going to do this. Or you're not going to treat my agents that way. We're not going to be talked to like that. You need a broker who is going to actually stand up and protect their clients and protect their sales staff. That's you. Okay. Make sure that that broker is the person who is going to be able to stand up and protect you at all costs. And truthfully, the best brokers, they don't make it about them. It's not about them at all. It's about you. Your success in this industry is the primary focus for them because that's the marker of their success. It's not whether or not they're selling millions of dollars of real estate. And some brokers have to. Some brokers go on and they say, I'm not a competing broker. That's why you want to work for me. And some brokers say, I do list and sell because I can't continue to teach you if I am so detached that I am not selling or working in real estate anymore. So it's not a right or wrong answer. It's what you feel comfortable with. But the truth is, the marker of success for a broker is your success. And if your broker has missed that, you might want to consider if that's the correct broker to be working under. So you're not a sales professional. You've made it this far in this podcast, in this video, and you are wondering why in the world, as a buyer or a seller, doesn't matter where my agent chooses to hang their license. And let me tell you, there's a few reasons why that matters. A broker's leadership is going to trickle down to how their clients are treated. 100%. How they are treated by their broker is usually how they are going to treat their clients. If they are accessible to you, if they are going to communicate with you, the culture of how they are going to deal with you in this transaction, it's all how they are trained and what they bring from their office environment, their office environment. That's exactly what they are going to bring the table for you to you. So it's super important. Great brokers also create great agents. You want and deserve a great agent. This is the largest monetary decision you are ever going to make in your life until hopefully you choose to do it again with hopefully the same agent. And whether you're selling or buying, it's a large financial decision. You want to pocket as much money as possible. So you want to make sure you're doing so with someone who knows what they are doing. And obviously, not everything is always sunshine and roses. Sometimes we have situations where things go sideways. And when that happens in a transaction, you want to make sure that you may be panicking, but your agent has a calm, competent broker backing them that can step in and help with any situation. They maybe haven't seen this before because trust me, after 23 years experience, sometimes something happens and I'm like, y'all, I'm going to have to think this through because this hasn't happened before. Or yes, I've seen this, but I can always come up with a solution and with a calm and level head, figure out how we are going to overcome this obstacle. Clients rarely meet the broker, but they always feel their presence in the deal with an agent who has the correct training and guidance from an experienced broker. The truth is, that agent is going to bring you exceptional service, and you are going to really enjoy that transaction more than someone who has an absentee broker. I honestly think it is so important to consider who the broker is or who your sales professional has chosen to hang their license with. Again, I've said it many times during this. What is the culture of that company? What is the reputation of that company? It is a direct result of that broker and their involvement in the community and how they are looked at in the community. So it's so important when deciding who to work with to look a step beyond and figure out who that broker is too. My broker tip of the week is for you to ask your broker what they're doing to help you grow. If they don't have a clear answer for you, they've given you their answer. 100%. With their action, their inability to answer that, they have given you all the answers you need. So, for all of you who have watched, I would love for you to do me a couple favors. I want you to leave us some comments. Tell me about your broker, what they do to inspire you. I would love to know what's great about them. Or what's the best thing your broker ever did for you? Maybe what's the worst? Tell me about it. I would love to hear. Let me know in the comments below. That would be great. And also remember, this is our first ever episode. So please like and subscribe and follow along on this podcast adventure, because we are going to get deep in the weeds about all things real estate with all the real talk. And for those of you who know me well, you know that I can just talk and talk and talk. So we are going to just talk and talk and talk all things real estate. But I want you to join me for next week's episode, where we discuss the 3 questions every buyer should ask their agent. There are 3 specific questions, and we can't wait to see you again next week. Thanks for joining us.